Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Ethereum versus US dollar on the weekly time frame. And why are we looking at this? Well, was it today, earlier today, or yesterday or sometime? I was listening to George. Who's George? George the Cryptosaurus. Come on, man. Everybody knows George. And somebody was asking about ETH and if he should sell. And George's answer was just like really lackluster. And so I had to say something. I'm like, George, what the F, man? Look at this. Ethereum is just busting out of this humongous ascending triangle here. It's been going back all the way to May of 2022. And this channel goes all the way back to 2017. Come on, man. Look at this. We just bounced right off the top of the channel right here. Tested it for support, and it's to the moon, baby. What kind of an answer was that? So then later on, I just happened to check my notifications on YouTube, and somebody replied to me and said, "What?" Question mark. I thought Ethereum was in a descending channel. And I'm like, what's this clown talking about? And because I don't see a descending channel here, it's pretty freaking obvious to me that there's an ascending parallel channel here, creating an ascending triangle. It's plain as day. And I said it's not freaking rocket scientist, thinking the guy was just being a smartass or something. And lo and behold, to my surprise, he replied right back. And he said, it all depends on your unit of measure and time frame, dude. He said, if you look at an ETH Bitcoin chart, Ethereum's been bleeding against Bitcoin for the past week in this downward channel. And I said, whoa, that's heavy, man. So I went to the ETH Bitcoin chart, just like this right here. And sure enough, look at that. Well, kind of is what it's doing here, too. It came up through the top of this channel and came back down and tested the top of the triangle and is bouncing right here clearly. Actually, you know what? Oh, this is a weekly chart right here. We go to like something like a 4-hour chart. Look at that. Obviously, came up here. Boom, retest. Actually, been testing it for a long time. Broke above, back down for the retest and the bounce. So on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin up here in the upper right hand corner. Did you know you could do that? I didn't even know you could do that. Well, I mean, I've known for a while, but a while back I didn't know you could do that. And I think it was Rob from I'm pretty sure it was Rob from Digital Asset News said, did you know that if you're whatever you're looking at over here, you can look at it in TradingView? You click on this compared to any other asset here. Hey, let's look at Ethereum versus... No, let's just stick with Bitcoin. Anyway, let's just stay here for now. So, yeah, sure enough, he's right. This is this is a daily chart, and this is a much more than what I was showing on Ethereum versus US dollar. It is bleeding much more against Bitcoin, and did come up here nicely, though, but for the past week, it has been. So he really got me interested in comparing these. I've always just compared everything to the US dollar. I've never compared things to other digital assets, digital asset to digital asset. So I said, hey, let's look at this chart on the weekly time frame and see what we got going on here. So long term in the entire history of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, since way back here when the dinosaurs were around. George was probably around. Well, yeah, George was around here because he's a cryptosaurus. So chart looks a little bit different than versus US dollar. First of all, you have this kind of asymmetrical triangle. It's not very symmetrical. A lot of the ones I draw that are not ascending or descending are kind of perfectly symmetrical. I don't like other odd shaped ones. But you do have that, but that's using these points from 2017, which it just looks different on the. Yeah, these are like way down here when you're looking at Ethereum versus US dollar. And then these from 2021 over here are like way up there. So, but with Bitcoin, this is what it looks like. But I did note that right here where this dashed line is, so let's make that bigger. Why is that only 1 point? I thought I made it 2 points. There, that's better. Where that dashed line is, you can make a dashed line there, like around 0.087 satoshis, and it gets it does grab a lot of kind of, it's hard to like. But what am I trying to say? Spit it out. Kind of has a top here. This wicks through it a little bit here, but that kind of goes to it there. These guys kind of stop there. That one kind of stops there. And then this guy stops there. These guys kind of close daily, or we're on the weekly right now. You got weekly closing action right there, and all these guys wicking up to it, and this guy too. So it's got a lot of points of contact with just these two all-time highs from 2017 that punched through it. Of course, those are weekly candles, but nonetheless, pretty much has the general concept of an ascending triangle there, and not to mention this this upward sloping parallel channel that Ethereum is clearly trading in versus Bitcoin over the years on many year basis. And what I did notice here on the weekly, while Ethereum is coming down here over the past few weeks in these three weekly candles right here, you can clearly see that. But what Ethereum is also doing is trending upwards, oscillating in this channel here. I notice these things. I see the channels and I see the triangles and I see the patterns. I don't know why, but maybe I'm just seeing things. Could be. That could be what's going on. But it looks to me like we came up here. Like, see the center line right here? Kind of hit the center line, bounced off, came back, fell through the center line to the bottom of this channel, came back up to the center line, fell back down to the bottom of the channel, back up to the center line, and actually, oh, I thought I saw something else there. Guess not. And back to the center line again, back up to the top of the channel, back down here, kind of cruised along it, and then fell down here. So you can see the interaction clearly along the center line here, trading in the top of the channel here with a couple a little bit of action down here in the below the center line of the channel. Now, I believe that Ethereum versus Bitcoin will continue to trade, ought to continue to oscillate upwards within this channel. Now, since it is oscillating in this channel, sometimes versus Bitcoin, ETH will be going down. Sometimes it'll be going up and down and up and down. And it'd be interesting to see what happens when we get to the top here, if we do. Now, the top of this ascending triangle and this channel, uh, they intersect somewhere between the end of April, just after the halving, and middle of July. Now, it's been I've been saying this and saying this and saying this since probably the end of summer 23, that I believe, first of all, that Bitcoin will be 48,000. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart. Oh, the Bitcoin chart's all messy. But I do have another Bitcoin chart here. There we go. So it's not so messy. But I do believe that at the halving, oh, we're on a 4-hour time frame. That's not good. Oh, who got this ready for me? You know what? I was looking at something else. So I did switch from a daily to a 4-hour. April 20th, 420, having right there about 48,000, which conveniently is right here at the intersection of these two. Actually, it's one big channel broken into two channels. You can break these into smaller and smaller things, and you can see the price action, how it really well. I'll show you right now. You can really see how the price action trades within smaller channels of a larger channel. Clearly, this center line has importance right here and here and here, as well as the intersection of the two channels and the upper one too. It goes way, way back, way, way back. You can see, look at how we stayed here in the top portion of this channel, came down to the bottom of it, came down to the bottom of it here, traded in the top portion of this channel, traded in the bottom portion of this channel. Clearly, these center lines play a role in the price action, as well as the outer edges and the intersection of this channels. So there you have that. So it's been my belief, theory, that we will be at 48,000 at the halving. And, that's not unusual. A lot of people are saying that. And why is a lot of people saying that? Because um, it coincides with this high right here, which is the first major bounce, retracement back upwards from this dumpiness action here. Um, and it's also, okay, I'm so sick and tired of people talking about fibs. Fibs are a bunch of whatever. Okay, they're a bunch of whatever as far as I'm concerned. So there aren't magic numbers or natural numbers that everything follows. Just Really depends on where people are drawing their lines, and it just like, and they don't even hit on the fibs. They just kind of like, oh, I can see it hit. Yeah, the price action is gonna hit those lines sometime. Like if I drew a horizontal line right here, I go, oh, look at price action hit right there, and it hit right there, and it hit right there. Even though this, I'm sure this probably isn't even a fib number. I don't know. Maybe it is. Wouldn't that be crazy if it was? Let's see what happens if I draw a fib right there. Is this no? Those aren't fibs. Where are they? Here they are. I think that's the one. I don't even do these things. So if I drew one from here to there, see, you could almost say, but not really. See, what did I say? I said like right here. I could draw a line like right there at 37,000. But no, there's a fib line up here that's 618. Where is that line that? What is this? This is almost a 0.786. See, okay, that's at the top there, and this one's at the bottom. So why are people saying this is a 0.618? What is this 618 at? 618 is at 38,000. Where are people even coming up with this crap? Oh wait, oh shit. You know what? My bad. I think that what I need to do is I have to go over here. My bad. I think I have to. Oh, it is. It is checked. Fib levels based on log scale. What happens if I click this off? Oh, that's weird. Huh. Isn't this supposed to be checked if I'm on the log? Because now the 618 is here. Are they not? Are they not even using this right? That is so weird. Huh. Well, I don't know. Well, there you have that. Right? We're on log. What happens if I click that off? Oh, see, that's funny. Then the 618 is there, but it's based on the log. I'm going to have to look into that. That is food for thought. Because now. Oh, okay. Now it's unchecked. That's interesting. What happens if I check it? Oh, I can't check it right now. Okay, so if we're in standard, that is the 618. Because we're not in log right now. They wouldn't even let me check the log. And this is the 618. Now, if we go to logarithmic, see, it's not the 618, but maybe I'm not supposed to have that box checked. Maybe that could be it. I don't know. I don't know how to use it. Anyway, I think it's a bunch of Mickey Mouse nonsense. Where was the level I was looking at? 37,000 something. Yeah, see right there. A key level, 37,000 something. And no, it's not even at the 382. The 382 is down at 35.6, 35.9. It's like almost there. And what's this one at? This one's like almost there. You really have to hunt to see that these things actually work. I mean, yeah, it's pretty close, but whatever. It's a bunch of nonsense. Let's get rid of that guy. I hate him. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to what I was talking about because it's really important. Uh, I propose that at the halving we are at 48,000, like right around there. But prior to the halving, I believe that we come up to about 60,000 and about around middle of February. I was saying towards the end of January, but I usually get things a little bit early. It's just because I'm a big bull. I'm a big bull, so I tend to think things are happening sooner than they are. So mid February. And why do I choose mid February? Because if you look at this chart with all the lines on it, what happens? One worst case scenario that I did propose, although I made it very clear that I did not think this was going to happen, although it looks like it does have a potential of happening, looks like we almost started doing it. And I knew that we would start to do it just to fake people out and get everybody talking about it. And what we started to do is come down in this parallel channel here, this bull flag channel. And what that would have, what the scenario that could have played out is that we came down here with this red line down to, I'm going to go on a weekly for a second here. I'm going to go to a weekly. Here's our red line that I drew. Let's make it fatter. That red line. And so we did start coming down here. And I said way back here, I said, if we do not get above this white dashed line, look out because we could come down here. I said, I do not believe this is going to happen, but we could. And it wasn't. And what would happen if we came down here? We would be coming down possibly to the bottom of our green parallel channel or this pink channel, which is very similar to the green parallel channel. But also that where is it? Oh, it's over here. You can see at the bottom of the screen the weekly Gaussian channel coming up here, coming up here, coming up here, and possibly coming up here by the middle of June. Oh yeah. It wasn't the pink parallel channel. I think I moved this red line because it was in the way of my candles. It's supposed to go like that. um, on May 19th, or February 19th, I mean. Um, and so the Gaussian channel, the weekly Gaussian channel, would intersect this white line of support and resistance at 31,000 and the bottom of our green parallel channel. That was the worst case scenario that I saw possibly playing out if this, if there was a black swan and what have you. And Gary Gensler declared everything a security, and the Supreme Court agreed with him, and whatever. Um, so that was that. So that's the worst case scenario. That's the underside of things. So the best case scenario would be the exact opposite of that on February 19th up here somewhere. Now I did put this on the 10th. I don't know why I put that, or the 5th, or whatever that is. I don't know why I did. I think, yeah, it is the 10th because we're on a weekly. But so maybe that's a little bit too ambitious. I don't know. We'll see. The reason I did put that there, if we go back to a daily, is because let's get rid of these guys. Get rid of that. Go back to a daily. The reason I put that there is because it's right at the bottom of our this orange parallel channel that we had been trading in up until we fell out here on December 24th. Oh, the day before Christmas. It's not very festive. So this is the parallel channel we've been traveling in, I believe, since October 9th. Yeah, October 9th there, or somewhere, October something. And actually since September. So that orange parallel channel is the one we've been oscillating up and down until we fell out here. And we've kind of gone sideways since, had our little burst upwards with the ETF announcement, and then downwards. Now we're bouncing off of here. Like someone made a comment that they didn't possibly think we would bounce right here at this white line. We did wick through it a little bit, but essentially that was our bouncy bounce right there. And falling out of this green parallel channel on our way down, we did fall out to these two lines are parallel to other price action, back a little bit further, and parallel to the channel. So that's essentially what we did for a little fake out shakeout. Got to make the people think we're dumping, and then upwards we went and are going. And so we made it back into anyway, I'm not going to go over all these channels. We did make it back into, let's go, you know what, I will go on a let's say like a 4 hour chart, because I did point out the head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders, although it's not really an inverse head and shoulders, but it's a reversal pattern marked by these three fuchsia colored lines here, circles. We had the shoulder, the head, and we're forming this second shoulderish kind of formation here. But I saw this coming once we were right here. I said, "Whoa, look what's going on." And that is what's going on. And sure enough, see how this pink line is the bottom of another channel that we're traveling in. And sure enough, we bounced off the white parallel channel, came up here, struggled for support on top of the pink parallel channel, came back up here, finding support on the green parallel channel, And if you look at the, you know what, if you look at the 5 minute, really, really shows you what's going on here. 5 minute, you can see how we come right up to the center line here, trade along the intersection of these two green channels, trade right here along the center line, bounce, 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 bounce back up to the intersection here. And all these moves are quick moves here. Kind of here, we're just going sideways, but whatever. You can see how the price action is trending along this channel, and then we fell to the bottom of the channel. And what we started doing, here is oscillating um, around the pink line here, and then we finally busted through it up to the green parallel channel. This is way too. There we go. That's better like that. Saw a big bounce up here. Bounce here to there, and then broke above and here and there and bounce and up for a fake out and then back down, faking people out, shaking them out, and then we said, boom, let's go again. And traded up along here, bounce, bounce, bounce. Not very long. Thought we would continue longer along there. Bounce. So maybe we do. But I do think we're ready to continue onwards and upwards. And we have the FOMC meeting here in the pink. And I had forgotten all about that. So I think the market has too. Let's go back to like a 4 hour. So back here on the 4 hour, I proposed once I saw that we were making this inverse head and shoulder reversal pattern here, that we would come up here, trade along the pink line, come back up, trade along the green line, come back up here, and up here. So that was really rough, although we're pretty much following that so far. But I do think we will have a little stickiness here. We should. It's the top of our descending bull flag channel that we've been traveling in. So we should have a little trouble there. Now, I do see that up here we did poke out a little bit. So I believe, and we got the center line of this pink channel. We got this white line, which is a major line of support and resistance at 44.7. And we are above. We're on top of the green parallel channel, so that's good. We got to get above the green bull flag channel, this channel here, and then re-enter the blue parallel channel. So I imagine we're gonna get hung up in here. Not sure exactly, but we should see some choppiness between 44,000 and 45.7. And then you have the FOMC meeting here. Could be very likely that we see a bounce there and possibly stay in these green channels, traveling, carrying us upwards through the more horizontal channels that we are traveling in. Now, this blue parallel channel, I told you time and time again, is it's the one that I believe it's the one that Tyler usually talks about as the trend line. But you got to watch how these guys draw the trend line. I take great care and accuracy at drawing these trend lines very, very precisely. Look, you can see right here how these candle wicks come right up to it and how we've held support on it here and fell through it here. And we are trying to get back up in it. Now, what is this trend line? It's where we fell through in August. It's where we held here in June, is that? Yeah. And March and the beginning of our um, bull run here in January after the FTX collapse. And then the top of the channel also catches the price action here. We come above it there a little bit. That's why there's different channels. Different channels catch different price action. You can see the green one here doesn't capture this big portion there, but this green one goes all the way back to 2013 and catches a lot of price action along the way. The blue one does not. The blue one is a newer one. Um, so that's that. And what the hell was I talking about? So I was talking about, yeah, coming up here and coming up here and why I chose May 19th. I don't know why. Oh, I chose May 10th here, or February 10th, because of this orange parallel channel. Um, I originally thought that we would be coming up at the end of January to the top of the blue parallel channel. I'm just trying to pick lines that make sense. It makes sense that we come up to the top of the blue parallel channel, but I don't think we have enough. Maybe we do. If the ETFs get crazy, maybe we do something crazy like come up here at the end of February. That would be all the way up to 67. That would almost be a new all-time high. So that could be possible. I don't think so. I'm trying to be more conservative. I've always believed that we're going to get to 58 to 62,000 in this extended bull rally before pulling back to 48,000 in at the halving. And this is the big pullback that everybody's looking for. It's not happening now. It's happening later, closer to the halving. But we just shall see. Anyway, if we did get up to 60,000 February 19th, let's see if that works out. The whole point of this video is to see if it works out with the new information I have from our friend, my friend, that, gave me a wake up. You really woke me up and made me, forced me to look at things differently. And actually, I spent a long time tonight trying to figure out how in the hell that they came up with these percentages here. Because I was looking at the percentage gains, like say on a daily time frame, how you got this candle wick here on what is that, the 10th January, where Ethereum versus Bitcoin gained 10.25% on the 10th of January. And then I looked at the Ethereum chart on a daily time frame. And I'm like, okay, so 10th of January, right there, this big candle here, and Ethereum versus US dollar gained, and I'm going from open to close to make it easy. Yeah, about 10.15%. about the same. I'm like, how in the F can that be? Unless Bitcoin stayed absolutely flat on the 10th of January, right? We're on a dollar. We're on a daily time frame here. 10th of January is that's the 8th, 9th, 10th right there. That's this. It's a shorter candle, shorter looking candle, but still it's got some meat to it. So let's see what that is. There to there now. This is really rough, so it might not be really accurate. 1.11%. I'm like, okay, wait. Bitcoin went up 1.11%, and Ethereum went up 10% versus US dollar. And yet, Ethereum versus Bitcoin still went up 10%. Like, how the F do they figure this stuff out? And I was using all sorts of, I'm like, wow. And I was trying to multiply this and multiply that and whatever, and divide this by that. And I'm like, wait a second. Maybe they're like, like swapping tokens. It's not the same. You're not exchanging the same dollars as you are when you're. Anyway, I was coming. I didn't know what the hell was going on, and then I just tried simply subtracting these. I'm like, well, maybe just subtracted, whatever. And this is really bad because I got a. My claim to fame is that I got a 780 on the math portion of the SAT, but that was like a long time ago, and then I finally realized. I'm like, okay, this is 1%. And I was doing, I know that a percent is 0.01. I know that much. And it wasn't until I'm like, I had to think about it. I had to think of it as like, okay, what if I had um, if I had this percentage of X and this percentage of Y, and then how much percentage of X in relationship to Y would I have? And that's when I realized you gotta include the one before the decimal point. So it's 1.01 to 1.1. And so then when you do, like, for example, you do, so what did we have? We have 1.11% for Bitcoin, and we're doing ETH to Bitcoin. So Ethereum was 1 point, what was it? Oh, I erased it. Um, well, Ethereum was like something like 1.11, let's say. And Bitcoin, so we divide that by 1.011, and that should equal 1 point or 0.10. Uh, Whatever I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Did I do that right? I'm losing it. I'm tired. 10%. Ethereum went up 10% versus Bitcoin. And it went up 10% on its own. Oh, yeah. Because you got to subtract the one. So we were using rough numbers here. So what did we get? We got 0.97%. So, I'm just not drawing these. I'm not measuring these accurately. So we got 9.7%, which is pretty close to 10%. So that's how you do that, just in case anybody else was wondering. And if you draw your measurements a little bit more accurately, and like make your candle really, really big, so you can get accurate measurement there, then you would probably come up with the 10.2% or whatever it was. So that's how you do that. So now we got to figure this out. So let's go to, first of all, I believe in my heart that at the halving on 420 or thereabouts, Bitcoin will be at 48,000. Now, here, if Ethereum continues upwards in this channel, and we just go to the center line here, that's about 0.075 Satoshis on 420. Yep. So let's say 0.075 Satoshis. So Bitcoin is at 48,000. Then we just times, where's my calculator? Times 48,000 by 0.075 Satoshis, and we get $3,600 for ETH. Now, is that reasonable? By April 20th? $3,600 for ETH is very reasonable. Actually, I think it might even be more by then, which would be okay, because that would just mean that we're further up in the channel. So yeah, $3,600 for ETH is very reasonable, especially considering. Okay, so here's our target for Ethereum. We're on a daily time frame looking at Ethereum versus US dollar. So here's our ascending triangle. Here's our leg measurement there, and here is that target placed from the breakout, which is the top of the ascending triangle, and I positioned it in time where it hits a parallel line to this, parallel with our channel, and that is on July 31st at $5,300. Just to give you some perspective that we would be going this way. Now, is it possible that on February 19th, we hit $60,000 as I propose over here with Bitcoin, where this white X is, but to the right a little bit, like over here, February 19th, $60,000. Is that possible, even though it's out here in the middle of nowhere with no lines around it at all? More likely, we hit it over here in the early March, probably at this line. Or possibly we only come up to 57,000. That's even very reasonable and more practical. The end of February. Anyway, somewhere up there, 57 to 60,000. Let's say 60,000. What was I saying? Oh my gosh, look at that. February 19th, $60,000 for Bitcoin. Is that reasonable? And does it fall in line with the other charts? Um, let's see. February. I'm losing my mind. It's getting late. I need to go to bed. February 19th. Say we were something like right there. Oh, you know what? We would have to be, say we'd, well, say we were at the center line here. Say we were at the center line on February 19th. That's about 0.061 Satoshis. Um, so let's figure that out. 60,300 times 0.061 Satoshis is $3,600 Ethereum. Didn't we come up with, no, that's, didn't we just come up with that? And that would be right here on February 19th. So yeah, Ethereum could keep going upwards like that right there. And then start going and see at that point. But if Bitcoin went up that quickly, would Ethereum follow that quickly? Who knows? Anyway, it all would play out here. So that would put Ethereum at the center line here. And Ethereum would still have to travel upwards in this channel. And this is a pretty steep sloping channel for Ethereum to do that. However, Bitcoin, after it hits 60,000 on the 19th of February, will be going down to 48,000. So perhaps then Ethereum keeps going up in relationship to Bitcoin. Now, here's the key here, because this is the parabolic run will start at the end of June to the beginning of July, I believe. So Ethereum should be up here somewhere, probably at the top of this channel. And perhaps at that point, Ethereum has already broken through the top of this channel and come back down and retested. So I think that Bitcoin will be $57,000 June 17th, let's say. And Ethereum will be 0.086, let's say 0.087 Satoshis. So if Bitcoin is $57,000 and Ethereum is 0.087 Satoshis, that puts Ethereum's price at $5,000 on the 17th of June. And 17th of June would be right there. $5,000 would be right there. So that's clearly in line with our targets from our ascending triangle. So all this falls in line. But thank you very much, Mr. Bob, for pointing this out to me and making me think and use my brain. And Ethereum is in a descending triangle since back then. But look what it's doing here. It's testing that low there. So maybe this is where it bounces. Maybe it comes down to the bottom of the channel here a little bit more and then continues upwards. Maybe Bitcoin makes the first move here and then this guy follows. And speaking of which, I want to go look at the other ones because I've been looking at AVAX, I've been looking at Render, I've been looking at Solana to be. Oh, we don't want to look at that there. Oh, let's go over here. This is the chart. No. What chart do we want to be on? Here, this chart. This is Render. Okay, so the original channel is this white channel here, the bull flag pattern. We've broken out of that on Render. So I have these extra lines that I've added since then just to make sure I'm not faking myself out. So yeah, we're on a 4 hour. That's good because I did see that Render is also making a symmetrical triangle right here with this point here, this point here, this point here, and this point here. And these 2 points down here. So I thought, okay. And that was right here when Render just broke out of the white channel here. But sure enough, it broke through there too. And I also wanted to make this green line, which took this point into consideration and this point into consideration. I thought, okay, could be making a triangle with that line and this line, but it's broken through there. And this orange line is the last resistance possible. And that is parallel to this other orange line, but at a height of the highest point here. So that's our last chance to negate this breakout here. If we get it, and that's like $4.55, and we're at 4.43 right now. So another 12 cents, and that's the last chance to negate this. I'm trying to draw all the lines I can to negate this breakout right here. And it's going through every single one so far. But it still has one last chance to, I'm trying to, I'm trying to not believe that this is in my head. And now Solana too. Here was Solana's parallel channel that we were traveling in, and it has wicked through here and wicked through here. The reason I have the channel drawn the way it is because it catches these bottom points here and here, and it catches centerline points here, and if I extended this up any further, I do believe that the center line wouldn't mesh. See how the center, we came right up to the center line and got rejected right there. Right here and right here. The center line has more points of contact with it drawn the way it is. So that's why it is the way it is. Of course, I could have pulled it down more. It would have hit this point, and probably these points up here. And the center line probably would have caught these lower ones, but then we definitely would have been broken out. But yeah, so it looks like this is breaking out too, Solana. However, with this one, again, I would wait because you do see this orange parallel channel. And that's the one we were traveling in for quite a long time here on Solana. Um, well, since we came up through the blue channel, let me go on a daily just for a second so we can look at more price action here. Well, that doesn't really help, does it? Just gives you a better perspective of how we've interacted with this orange channel here. We did catch like the top there. Well, not really. I think that wicks through. No, maybe. I don't know. But no, that doesn't really help looking at it on a daily. The 4 hour shows more. That's funny. That's why I switch from time frame to time frame here. You see a lot more action on the 4 hour. You really see how we interact with these channels here. And then we broke out above it, came back down into it. So, yeah, see what happens when we get up to about $1.08. And all of these things too, I believe, are cup and handle patterns. Whether this little bull flag here is the handle, which I do not believe. I believe it's just a little pullback. I believe this little tiny handle here is just a little pullback. And we see a little bit more upward movement before making a handle back down. And that falls in line with everything I'm thinking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else. Possibly Solana comes up. Wow, I'm talking for a long time here. I just got cut off again. Um, but it's important because I believe we're on the verge of another leg up right now. So like a big, huge move. Just talking about Solana possibly going up to 200 from 103 where it's at now. So I don't know if it's going to make it up that high. I don't know. I know we've been consolidating in a downwards channel, ready to make a breakout upwards, and that we are kind of forming this cupish pattern. All of them are doing it. A lot of the tokens are forming either cups or ascending triangles over a year and a half time frame, and possibly forming handles, but maybe not. At least little consolidations before taking the next leg upwards. And we could very realistically, come up to about 200, over 200 for Solana. And what that would do also is get us back to September of 2022. This is where we were making some nice moves heading upwards here for the effing XTX, the effing FTX. Excuse me, I need a drink here. That FTX collapse, which really did a number on Solana. So Solana, we looked at Render already. We looked at Solana. I want to look at Avalanche. Avalanche has a more pronounced flag. Has had a bigger. Well, I don't know if it's a bigger pullback, but where is it? There we go. Yeah, there's Solana's, Avalanche's cup and handle. So the top of the cup here, is that is that where our top? Now, see, this has a more pronounced handle here. So very well, we could be going up, up, up. And see here, look at this target is like $94 from, we're at 36 now. I don't know. I think we got some really big moves coming, at least to 62 here. 62 is a pole target from this pole, this flag, this pole here. 64, 62, 64. But we're out in the middle of nowhere. I got to draw some more lines. I got to look at things a little bit more here. See what's going on. If we did draw a line from, let's see, we're on daily time frame here. We just did draw a line like that, parallel to our other channels, and then we pulled it down over here. It makes sense. Right there, you see we're catching the bottom there of October 2022 and catching this top here on February 23. This is also parallel to, it's parallel to these other, this top here and this top here. So could we do something like that? Possibly. You know what? Let's bring it down to, not, I'm not picking it up. Let's bring it down to the top of there. Or even here. I'm trying to be as unbullish as possible. You know what? That looks like a good spot right there. So I'm being as unbullish as possible. We hit that right there before this little extra oomph right there. So we hit that one. And we hit this one. And we hit this. And you can clearly see the interaction here. And if we did bust a move up here, 55, that's quite a move. Quite a move upwards. To our mid-February date, it's a 54% move upwards. So, dudes, I think it's happening. I think we're going to see big moves. I don't know exactly what and where, but they're going to be big. Where? I know. Yeah, I don't know what and where or when, but it's coming. It's coming. So I think I rambled on long enough, and like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.